Hello and welcome to a very special Heroes World podcast presentation. It is May the 4th. That is right. Today is the day we celebrate Star Wars Day. And Star Wars is arguably, in my humble opinion, the greatest saga of all time. It is modern mythology at its best. It is a saga that has spanned generations now. It's, you know, 40 plus years old. This is something special created way back in 1977 and is still brought to us today, celebrated more now than ever before. The reach of Star Wars is huge. And as today is May the 4th, here at Heroes World, we are saying, May the 4th be with you. May the Force be with you. So I am joined today by my good friend Erik from Udon Entertainment, and we are both huge Star Wars fans. So we thought, what better way than to just talk Star Wars, one of our passions, one of our loves. So Erik, say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself first for those out there that may not know.
Hey everyone, so I'm Erik Ko. I run Udon Entertainment. We do creative service work. That's how we started, and then we started doing publishing. We are most well known of our Capcom art books and Street Fighter comics, and and all other goodies that's related to Capcom, and like also other art books of video game stuff like Personas and Dark Souls and anime art books like Evangelion books and things like that you see, at Heroes World. So you need any of those books, Andre can hook you up.
Right on. Yeah. So Erik, and just like myself, we are old school, long time Star Wars fans. We are old. Yeah. I like to say we're old, like OLDE. You add the E on to really emphasize how old you are. But there's one thing that always makes me feel like that kid again, and that is Star Wars. So Erik, how old were you when you saw Star Wars, and where did you first see it?
So it's interesting. I was a kid, and I was back in Hong Kong at that time, and then we don't really go to theaters much. It's not something of a family outing. It's nothing. Like, I actually never go to see a film in theaters by myself until the first movie that I see in theaters is Nightmare on Elm Street. So think about that. And that was like a very horrific freaking experience for me, because that's the first time you're in this big black room watching this movie that is like a guy with these claws is going to kill you in your dreams, and afterwards I have nightmares for like weeks. That's my first theatrical experience. It was that. Beforehand, everything else was basically like home video, and it was before VHS time with Star Wars. And I remembered Star Wars, to me, was a 15-minute film. Why is that? Is because back in the days, my dad's really into these 8mm projection movies and stuff, and then he brought a Star Wars reel, which is a digest of the first part of the Star Wars movie. It's not even the end of the Star Wars movie. It's just the first part of the Star Wars movie. It's like an 8mm reel, and he bought it from his work trip from, I don't know, US or UK or whatever. My father traveled around. So he bought that, and then we saw Star Wars on the wall of our living room. It was projected on the wall. In Hong Kong, we have small apartments, so it's not like projected like big. It was something like probably like projected like this small, and me and my brother would sit there and just watch this. And I remember the first projector that we have has no sound. So we watched the whole Star Wars Digest 15-minute thing with no sound. We just see things like, and it was like, what the hell is going on? We have no idea what they're doing. But then it was cool. You got all these explosions, you got all these things going on, in the beginning, and then you have these droids like walking in the sand. And then it's like, oh, this is really interesting. Then we upgraded our projector that comes with sound, so the soundtrack started playing, and it was blown away with like,
Yeah.
whoa, like all these, and then there's like all these sounds, and Darth Vader actually like go, it was like, oh wow, that's something else.
So what a first experience, because you got to basically see it kind of like a visual silent movie at first, and then you get the context of the sound and what sound effects really put you into that world. So what a great first memory. It may not be like the perfect one, but you got to experience it in a way that very few other people might have had to experience it.
It's crazy because we would watch it every night, and we actually would be able to recite every single line within that 15 minutes.
Wow.
Until VHS happens, and we got a VHS tape, and then we realized that the whole thing is actually 2 hours. It was like, what? There are more to it. It didn't end there. I can't remember where it ends, but it was like right in the middle of the movie somewhere. It kind of ended. It was somewhere. I think it was after the Millennium Falcon leave Tatooine. So they did the whole escape. They did the cantina thing, and then they escaped, and then that's the end. Like Millennium Falcon flies off.
So you literally thought it was an ending. Wow, that's fantastic. Well, listen, folks, if you're just joining us, this is Andre from Heroes World and my special guest Erik Ko, and it's Star Wars Day. It's May the 4th. So everybody out there's joining us. May the 4th be with you. We're talking about our love for Star Wars. This is something that both Erik and I are super passionate about. And we just heard his great story about his first interaction of Star Wars. Hey, if you are joining us, comment, talk to us. Let us know what your first Star Wars experience was. Did you go to the theater? Was it a home video experience? You can shout out to us in the comments. We're going to be checking that as well. So hopefully you'll find this entertaining. We're going to talk several different things about Star Wars, but as you know, Erik said he is from Udon Entertainment. And I just want to bring up a couple of very cool images that Udon has had the opportunity to do for Star Wars. And I'll let Erik take it away and describe these here. So here's the first one, Erik. What can you tell us about this one?
So Udon started off at year 2000 as a creative studio, with a whole bunch of artists, and I managed them, and I work with, like different companies as our clients, and we service them. So this particular one is actually done for the Star Wars Insiders magazine. It's a kind of like a comic tribute to, Days of Future Past, as you can see, but it's actually Order 66. So it's really interesting, and this one is amazing. It's an amazing piece done by the great Roberto Campos, one of the Udon guys.
Very nice.
And I really like how this one is. We work with the editor to pick who's going to be at the background, who's going to be on the poster and everything. And then we did this one. It's a little sad because when you actually go and buy that particular issue of the Star Wars magazine, you know how magazine goes. They put the title, they put all these words and everything in it, and it covers up almost like everything at the back. So I pick up this piece so that Andre can show it off in its full glory of how this piece is how it's intended to be seen. And
right on.
I think this is one of the rare times that like people actually see the whole thing.
Well, what's the word they call it now? It would be a virgin because it doesn't have the cover dress and the price and all that. So that's the light side, kind of a little bit of a light side and a dark side with Order 66. But here's the true dark side one. Wow, look at this.
Yeah, this bad boy is done by Alvin Lee. One of our best, one of my good buddies. This one is great. This one's done for Dark Horse Comics. It's one of the covers for I think one of the
Star Wars Tales.
Yeah, Star Wars Tales. Yeah. They actually made a poster of this to give away at San Diego Comic Con, and I happen to be able to grab one of those, and is one of our most treasured, client, giveaway thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm really happy. And, like, we did a couple other Star Wars little things here and there. We did some Star Wars figure designs for Hasbro and stuff, for the gaming section and stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, you have a background and a history, a long-running history with Star Wars yourself and licensing. So this is before you started Udon. Can you tell us a little bit about one of your other
So
passions is toys? So
it's
let's hear
interesting
your.
because a lot of people might know or might not know that before Udon, I was in product development. I was doing licensed product development. So I made the Gen 13 figure for Wildstorm, that very first Fairchild figure out there. That is my job. Um, I did like I did a couple other stuff like with Harris. We did a Vampirella statue. We did a Vampy statue. And all of those kind of things are like things that I do back then as a product development guy. I'm also a licensee of Star Wars. Back in 1995, it was before the special edition, which is 1997. At that time, nobody kind of cares about Star Wars, and then I'm passionate. I grow up with Star Wars, so I want to do Star Wars stuff. So I walked up to Lucasfilm, and it was like, hey, I want to do something. And that time, like 1/6 scale model kits is a big deal. So what I did back then are these vinyl kits. They are like super realistic back in the days. Think about it. This is like 25 years ago.
All right, let me pull up a picture here so people can get a closer idea of this thing here.
Yeah.
It's really pretty cool if you think about how old these pieces are. So these are from 98, you said?
These are released 1996, which is
96,
25
sorry.
years.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, so they are 12-inch scale because I love this scale. I love 1/6 scale figures. Be it like these Hot Toy stuff nowadays, or back in the days the GI Joes or the 12-inch Hasbro stuff, or Kenner stuff that I grew up with. So I wanted to do something like this. So these are vinyl model kits, and at that time it's a breakthrough for the industry because everybody loves these kits because they provide way more detail, and the likeness and everything would be much better than your run-of-the-mill figures back then. And remember, like back then, the Power of the Force,
Yep.
which is after what I did, and then and the action figures are like GI Joes or the old school Kenner stuff. So these are much more detailed, much more intricate and things. However, the garage kit market is growing, but a lot of the fans cannot actually paint these kits. We go and show it off, and then the fans go, "Oh, these are really cool," but does it come like that? I was like, "No, you have to build and paint." I was like, "No, I can't do it." So my idea is, okay, why don't we do something that's easy for the fans to do? So I'm the first guy who devised this up. It's like a factory pre-painted model kit. So this comes like that, and you just have it comes in pieces, and you just have to glue them together. But everything else is actually painted already.
Painted.
So for the actual advanced model builders, they can go and touch it up and add more details to it. But for a regular person, this will be good enough for display right out of the box, and you just going to put it together. So we did. Yeah.
Sorry, one quick question. We got somebody in the stream watching. Are those still available to buy? Can you find those on the collector market, like on eBay or something like that?
I know that they're still around on eBay and stuff. Like check out Polydata Star Wars. POLYDATA. That was my company name back then.
Nice.
Nice. It's my first. It's actually my first gig, and I use my father's tech company as a front to run it. So that's why it's called Polydata. Is my father's company.
Nice. And you also, like, I know a little bit about the backup, but tell the people out there listening about this guy here, because the Fett Man is super popular right now.
So we ended up sculpting 10 of these figures, but only be able to release 5 of them until our license ran out. And that is when Lucasfilm started really pushing for the new trilogy, and also the re-release special editions and everything. And a lot of the things changed. And unfortunately, like they also changed up their approval system and minimum guarantee and everything. And back then, I just can't afford to renew the license because they would want us to commit on not only continuing what we're doing, but they want us to commit a way bigger commitment on working on the prequels and stuff. And I just can't do it as a small company back then.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of like, step back and say, okay, I got to throw in the towel. I can't do it. So this is actually the Boba Fett that we sculpted. You can see, I think the quality and everything holds up after 25 years.
Yeah, it's super cool. Well,
honestly,
yeah,
we have these nice box art too.
You were ahead of the times, right? And it's cool to say that, hey, you got to work on something that was a childhood fantasy and a dream come true. So I want to say that's something to be super proud of and super awesome. Yeah, look at the comparison to the.
So this is my thing from 25 years ago, and this is like Hot Toys, and I deliberately posed my Hot Toys on the Hot Toys display the same as my model kit, just like for fun. And I feel like it's really cool that to juxtapose them, together. And it's like this is the same thing, but it's like 25 years later. And
yeah,
I absolutely adore what my buddy Howard's doing on the Hot Toy stuff. It's like this is the thing,
yeah,
this is the thing nowadays, right?
It's super fantastic. So if you guys are just joining us, thank you so much for tuning in. This is a Heroes World. May the 4th be with you special. And of course, I love talking Star Wars myself. I'm a huge Star Wars nut. Look at the background here. I got some of my friends, R2 and a Loaf Cat. Joined with me is my good friend Erik Ko, founder.
Is that the theater popcorn R2?
No, this is the Hasbro R2 with lights and sounds, but he's got no batteries. I don't like to keep batteries in my stuff because sometimes they bleed out. But yeah, we've got so much to talk about. If you're a Star Wars fan right now, there's so much to be excited about. And today was a real treat for us on Disney. We got Bad Batch #1. And I gotta say, wow, what a cool continuation of the Clone Wars universe. Like, we saw the Bad Batch at the end of the final season of Clone Wars almost a year ago, and now we get to see the first movie here, and it was almost about 78 minutes for this, Erik.
Yeah, it's over an hour. It's like the official clocking time is an hour 15 minutes with the credits and everything. So
yeah, so what a very, very cool show. I'm so happy that the animated stuff is continuing. So Erik, I want you to tell me what your first impressions of this aftermath was of the Bad Batch. And hey guys, if you're out there listening to us and following us, and we are going to talk a little bit of some spoilers, so please bear that in mind. If you want to maybe mute us or step away for a minute, we are going spoilers, but whatever we talk about, trust me, it is cooler in person when you watch it. So here we go. I'm going to let Erik go first. I'm going to chime in after with some of my opinions of the Bad Batch. Disney Plus's latest Clone Wars series started today on Disney Plus.
Well, I absolutely like that show. I mean, so far, everything Dave Filoni is doing, it's great. It's amazing. I adore the guy. He's like the top representative of all Star Wars fan, in my opinion. That is working at Lucasfilm. Like writing out the dream that every one of us have. And he did Star Wars right. Look at what he did with Mandalorian. Look at what he did with Rebels. He understands what Star Wars is, and this opening episode of Bad Batch just gets me. Just it hooks me. And to be honest with you, I haven't finished watching all of Clone Wars because I was a little late to the game, and I watched the last season. I watched snippets of the previous, like series, and I did watch the whole Rebels. And the character progression, everything in this one carries, everything that comes from the end of Clone Wars. Is almost like right after Clone Wars. Well, it's literally, kind of like the same time when Clone War ends, because it started with Order 66, right? So it's really really cool, and I really think that this show, at least for what I can see, it's Star Wars done right again. What do you think, Andre?
Right
You're
on.
very critical of Star Wars, right?
So yeah, I want to echo those sentiments. If you guys don't know, Dave Filoni is the guy who brought us the original Clone Wars movie, animated movie that introduced Ahsoka Tano to us, and he also did, or was the man in charge, working side by side with George Lucas to bring us the 5 seasons of the Clone Wars. Then he did the Clone Wars: The Lost Season, followed that up with Star Wars Rebels. Dipped his toe into the live action and brought Star Wars back for many people with The Mandalorian. And he is the creator of The Bad Batch. And I think he's an executive producer on this. So anything with Filoni's name on it for Star Wars, I'm giving it a chance. As Erik said, this guy, he knows Star Wars. He knows the lore. He's been working side by side with Lucas way back in the day from the Attack of the Clone movie and going forward. So if you checked out the last season of Clone Wars, the first 3 episodes introduces Clone Squad 99, the Bad Batch, and they're kind of this misfit group of what they call genetically defective clones, but they're all augmented in some way, shape, or form that gives them different abilities. They go on all these covert missions. So we saw a quick little taste of those guys. But then in this movie, we really kind of delve into it. And I liked how it was very lore specific. We went to Kamino, right? And we get to see Kamino, which looks very, very much as good, if not better, than we saw in Attack of the Clones. We saw the Kamonians with the long necks looking great. The lighting in the facility just looked fantastic. But not only that, we get a little bit more of the personality and the quirkiness of these individuals that already are seeming like pretty individualistic clones as they are. They're clones, but they're not all the same. You can see the different traits coming out. So I really, really like that. So this episode for me, I got to say, when I first saw the trailer, I was a little apprehensive, like I always am. Like, Star Wars is so close to me. I'm just like, oh, I want it to honor the source material. I want it to be close to what I know from reading a lot of the expanded universe stuff. But it delivered, like the action right at the beginning was super cool. Like, Rebels for me right now is like one of the my favorite Star Wars things. And just that opening scene where we see,
yeah, I know, right?
And we've got Jedi Master Debalba and then they Caleb Doob. and if you know your Star Wars lore, this is like they're like, hey, they're dropping little I don't want to say Easter eggs, but they're doing to say, hey, this is cool. We got to see a young Caleb who is Kanan Jarrus. Like that is him when he's a Padawan. So we get to see, as Erik said, that moment right before Order 66. And again, if you know me, I'm, like I said, I'm very, very peculiar about making sure things fit together. So all of a sudden, when he brings Clone Squad 99 in as reinforcements, I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, please, please, please don't mess up the Kanan Marvel hardcover story where they talk about how he, what happens and gets it. But they did it perfectly. It was just this little segue. He gets away, but they gave us as fans, we got to see a little bit of Kanan when he was young, and we saw it again in the end of Clone Wars season 1. So it's just nice that they're kind of linking these things together and stuff. So that was super cool. We then get to see Tarkin So they're literally just laying down this foundation that yes, this is taking place within that giant galaxy, but everything is kind of connected. So on that connected front, one of the things I really loved about the design of this clone squad is I don't know if you're really familiar with this, Eric, but their armor is based on, or their backpacks especially, are based on the Republic commandos. And that's one of my favorite things. I'm going to bring up a little bit of a picture here. And this is back from a video game years ago, came out on the original Xbox. This is Delta Squad from the game Republic Commando. And you can see those large backpacks, and each one of these commandos are specially trained and stuff. And although those commandos are canon because of the Clone Wars show, we haven't seen a whole squad of them. And this clone squad actually really makes me think of this squad of 4 commandos working together. And because if you've watched that last episode, you now know that it's really the 4 clones. I don't want to spoil anything more than that, but something happens to one of them. So it really given me that Republic Commando vibe. And again, this warms my heart as an expanded universe lover to know that even though we might not get this particular squad, we are getting and seeing some of those traits in the Bad Batch. I think what this means is that the people making this show are going through all of the lore and all of the stuff.
Which is something I like about when Filoni is in charge, because he seems to be able to tap into every little corner of things, not only whatever is in the first 6 movies, right? He expanded. He took like these things that are just irrelevant back then and make it relevant. Think about it. Like Darth Maul, as cool as he looks, if you think about him as a character, just from the perspective of the first movie, I mean, the episode 1. I mean, not the first movie. Movie.
Episode 1, the Phantom Menace.
You look at him like, oh, he's cool. He's marketed heavily as the bad guy, but then what has he done? Nothing. He just stood there, and then he just like did all his katas, and then he's cool. He's like badass looking, but then what is Darth Maul? But then with the expanded tales from Clone Wars, they revived him. They give him a purpose. They give him a whole storyline. Then with Rebels, they bring him back and do all these things for him, and they wrap it up like really nicely. And to me, it was like, how could they have done that? And it's much like what they did with Boba Fett in Mandalorian.
Yep.
With just one episode, they make this cool-looking guy with no backstory relevant again.
Right. They're able to mine it and push them to the forefront by building up what is in the expanded universe, what was maybe in comic books and novels, maybe video games, but now they're letting everybody who's maybe a cinematic Star Wars fan and doesn't read the stuff or play the games get a taste of how cool those characters are. And I think, kudos to Filoni and his team of people who are, again, knowing that the Star Wars universe is such a big sandbox, but there's so many areas that you can dig and get a gem and find something that can relate to not only old fans like myself, but new fans are going to come along for that ride. So I think that's, again, right now, Star Wars is, as I said before, it's binding us together. There's so much cool Star Wars stuff. There's Star Wars stuff for everybody. I think you'd be hard pressed not to find something Star Wars that you really, really like, or you might not have known about. Like you said, we've got Star Wars comic books, we've got novels, we've got video games, we have got the collectible statues, we've got the action figures, we've got the high-end toys, we've got Lego just killing it. Like realistically, I don't think there's no better time to be a Star Wars fan. Like one of my favorite things for Star Wars came out years ago, but it's the Star Wars Edge of the Empire role-playing game system by Fantasy Flight Games. So much like good ancillary knowledge. Again, these guys are really going through and in all their source books adding more and more. So even if you never play the game, you are able to
those are
just
really,
read those books and be like, wow, I now know more
really
about
good
Star
stuff.
Wars.
You know,
So,
all these little things that all us licensee does, you know, all the research and everything, because we are fans. You can see that those guys are absolute fans. You know,
yep.
when I was doing my Star Wars stuff, I actually would argue with the Lucasfilm approval person about these little details that they don't even know, and they have to pull some archive picture. And back then, and nothing is digital,
Yes, there's
so
no
they have to.
Google.
Yeah, there's no Google, there's no nothing. So everything is like, I think is there Google? Well, we
But
definitely
not
had
to the same
email back
extent
then.
as we've got now,
We started having emails back then. We talk about 1995. So, but we talk about AOL times that that you have to plug in that disk,
Yeah.
and you have to make sure that your call waiting is off, and you have to go and dial in and hear the for like a minute before you can connect with 28.8 megabytes. It was, and you can't even send a picture without waiting half an hour.
Yeah. Oh man.
Remember those days when downloading MP3 was like 2 hours.
Ooh, for
Yeah.
sure. So listen, we have got just so much love of Star Wars. If you're out there joining us, it's May the 4th, so we had to do this. We had to just talk
Yeah,
about our love for
I just
Star
feel that
Wars.
I myself owe Star Wars my, like for my entrepreneur life, because this is how I started. With the Star Wars license, we started working on those things. And I learned how to, properly do licensing and stuff. And and I learned manufacturing, and because of that, I got these other jobs incoming, for the Gen 13 figures. And then that's how I transitioned myself into the comic book industry. It is because of these Star Wars model kits.
Yes.
We sell them at this show called the Chile Theater Show, and it's in New Jersey. And I go to Chile Theater like twice a year, and that's where I met up with like Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmieri and those guys, that we hang and we become friends. And that's how I got to know all these people,
That's
because
how
of Star
that
Wars.
was the inside track into the realm
Yeah.
of comic books, and Star Wars was a part of that. So speaking of that, I want to know two things from you, Erik. What's
Yeah.
your favorite Star Wars media moment, like from a video game, a movie, a TV show, a novel? What's your favorite Star Wars kind of moment? Anything cinematically?
Cinematically, I remember, of course, the shock of revealing Darth Vader is the dad. That one was like, back in the days, there's no such thing as internet and giving you spoilers and stuff. You've never seen that thing, you've never seen that thing.
Yep.
So when you saw it, it was the best well-kept secret for every single kid, going like, what? And then you will go no with Luke together.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, no, that's impossible. How can Darth Vader be his father? So I think nothing can top that for every single person. I think that would be like the pinnacle moment of Star Wars for every person experiencing Star Wars back then.
Back then, yes.
Yeah.
And as a fan, can you tell us about this moment here? I'm going to put up a picture for everybody.
As a fan, that is my top moment. That was a few years ago at Fan Expo Canada. I got to do this photo op with Mark Hamill, and I remember when you do those photo ops, they have this system going on. Like the guest would sit in a chair or stand there, and then the customer would go in and just stand next to him, smile, take a picture. Within like 30 seconds, you're gone, because they want to keep the line going. And there's so many people, in line wanting to take a picture with the star. So when we walked up, I was kind of like, I want to do this. I really wanted to pose with him with the lightsaber and everything. So I remember that day, I sneaked two lightsabers into the show with a FedEx tube. And then I put the two lightsabers inside the FedEx tube, and then I pretend it's like a poster tube, and I walk in. And then when I get into the line, the handlers was like, okay, what you do, you see he is in the chair, you see that X, that I was standing on the X, you see the X on the floor, so you go in and stand there, look at the camera, don't talk to him, don't touch him, no engagement, you're done, and then you have your great picture. So got it? And everybody was like, okay, that's fine. And But when I walk there, I want to be a rebel. So it's like, screw that. I was like, when am I going to see him ever again? The first time I've seen him is actually at 1995 when he was doing a Dark Horse signing at Comic-Con, and I was there selling my Star Wars kits. And I actually went up to give him one of the Luke Skywalker kits. I was like, Mr. Hamill, this is a product of yours, and I want to present it to you. And then he kept it. I don't know if he remembered or whatnot. I did ask him, and he said, "Yeah, I still have that kit." I was like, "Oh, maybe you're just being nice to me."
He's being
Yeah. But anyway, if it's for real, I'll be super happy. But then for this particular moment, I walk up to him, I pull out those two lightsabers, and I was like, "Mark, let's do." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then the handler wants to kill me. You can see that the handler goes like, "What the hell is this guy doing?" But then the thing, I don't care. So he grabbed the lightsaber and he actually showed me how to pose properly. He's such a nice person. It was like, take your time, And then he told he kind of like told the handler to stand down, and then he took the time. He's like, "Okay, do this," and it's like, "No, the lightsaber lower, a little lower," and then it's like, just look, and then you're ready. And then he did this picture. It's just like the perfect picture that I have, with him viewing.
Oh,
it's like
man.
that was. I don't think any Star Wars moment would top this in my life.
Top that. Yeah, that's a great one as a fan moment for sure.
Yeah, and Mark Hamill is such a nice guy.
Yeah. So that's a dream of mine that hopefully one day I can meet maybe Mr. Lucas himself. But I want to say for my favorite Star Wars moment, there are so many, and of course the one Erik mentioned, and there's so many from the original trilogy. But I do want to talk about, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier on, my love for Rebels and what Dave Filoni and those people that worked with him did. If you guys haven't watched Rebels out there, take the time. It's 4 seasons, 2 of them are short, but it is some of the best Star Wars you'll ever see. So a moment that I just absolutely adore was the final scene of the series. And
I was going to say that too, because this particular
what
frame.
a great scene. So I'm not going to spoil absolutely everything, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit of the synopsis of what this is. So this is the character Sabine, who is the Mandalorian, female Mandalorian you see, and she paints this mural on the wall in Lothal. And that's the planet where Ezra Bridger is from. And you see 2 giant Loth wolves and a Loth cat on Ezra. And it's basically, this is a memory of her family and her crew and what they did to liberate Lothal. And it just this image just encompasses that family feel and that sense of camaraderie that Star Wars is really all about. And the coolest thing for me is that you're basically listening to a monologue of Sabine, and she's looking at this picture, and then she turns away and she sees Ahsoka step off of a ship, and there's just this moment of kind of recognition, and she's like, Ezra Bridger's out there, I'm gonna go find him. And I just remember thinking, Filoni, you are a god. You have just set up the greatest adventure that we can look forward to after, and that's kind of this, what would you say, Erik, like a Gandalf the White kind of moment for Ahsoka, and then this quest, like, the search for Spock, almost like this quest to find Ezra, and it was just set up so wonderfully. The music was great. This particular moment just had everything Star Wars to me, and I'm hoping that we get that story. I would love it to be animated like the Rebels show was and Bad Batch, but I think we're going to get some of that
in the live action
with the Ahsoka Tano show.
Because there are rumors about casting the Aladdin actor to be Ezra.
Ezra,
I think is a pretty good cast.
Yeah,
he's actually Canadian.
Yep. No, there's listen, Disney has been casting people on point, like I'm critical of their shows because I want to love them, right? And I've got so much knowledge and stuff like that. But I can't knock that they are doing really well with the casting, so
I just think the cool thing about Rebels that I like is one of the reasons why I didn't actually get into watching Clone Wars is, of course, back in the days we don't have streaming or anything. You missed it, you
Yeah.
missed it, right? And I actually bought all the Blu-rays. I just don't have the time to go in. And it's like shit, it's like 5 Blu-ray box set. When would I have the time to binge it?
Yeah.
So I never get into it. But the one thing I like about Rebels instead of Clone Wars is that it seems to be a very independent story, that you don't need anything, there's nothing ties into the previous, prequel movies, or, they're kind of leading into the, the original trilogy, but it's a very independent, this ragtag team doing their own little thing.
Yeah,
in
it
the
feels
universe.
like the original team, right? It feels like the original Millennium Falcon type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like these new characters, and that's kind of how I feel that this is great. This is like a new extension of Star Wars with new characters. Some of the characters show up as cameos, like Lando.
Yep.
You even got Princess Leia. You got Vader. It's not until later on when Ahsoka is integrated in it that Vader got more involved.
Yeah,
but it's very minimal. It's still very minimal.
Yes, you could definitely watch Rebels without having watched Clone Wars. But if you then go back and watch Clone Wars, you start seeing, that's this character and that's this character, and they show up later on because again they're building that galaxy and they're having this connective tissue. But not everybody is always on the same planet and stuff. So,
yeah, so that is what I like about this. And I guess, this is like how you expand the Star Wars universe. It's much like what they did with Mando, that, that you don't need to, like, they're fan service. Mando's full of fan service, but then, they don't rely on that. They don't rely on hanging on to the fan service items, to push the story of their main character. It's much like Rebels is the same thing. They are their own entity. The Ghost ship is the main core group, and then from beginning till end, it's about this particular, family that they come together, and with their bonding, with their friendship, with their experience, what's going on with all these other characters, even like Callus. I was like, I can't believe what they did with this. This is like he was supposed to be the main villain of the show, and the character development of him. You thought that he was just a 2-dimension bad guy. He's just like, I just want to catch these guys, because he's like an Imperial guy. So, like, there's a lot of great surprises, a lot of really, really top-notch character development on Rebels. I can't praise it enough.
Yeah, it is really fantastic. So if you guys are out there, if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely you need to check it out. It is on Disney Plus, or you can buy it on Blu-ray. I think it is definitely
the Blu-ray is actually pretty cheap too nowadays.
So you can find it. So I want to thank everybody who's been commenting in our stream and our broadcast here. This is a May the 4th special. Andre from Heroes World joined with Erik Ko from Udon. And I just want to make a quick little apology just in case there are a couple of chats going. There's one through our Facebook and one through the YouTube. So I'm not ignoring you guys over in the YouTube. It's just hard to flick back and forth. But I want to thank you for joining. I want to thank Erik for taking this time on this evening, because this was basically kind of a last minute thing. I'm like, Erik, it's made.
No, I mean, like,
we got to talk Star Wars.
I always enjoy talking Star Wars with anyone, especially with you, because I know how passionate you are. And we have the same kind of like mindset of how Star Wars should be all the time. We're always in sync of what we like and stuff.
We just love it. Like, to me, Star Wars is every day, but this is the day I get to really geek out about it. So last but not least, today is Tuesday, and it is New Comic Book Day tomorrow. And Marvel has a really cool comic book coming out. So if you guys are in our neck of the woods, that would be Heroes World, my shop. We're in Markham, Ontario. Give us a call. We're only doing curbside. You can give us a call and check out Marvel's first part of War of the Bounty Hunters.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited about this.
The Prelude book looks fantastic. Promises to be super excellent. Marvel's Star Wars books have been fantastic, and I think this one is definitely going to be something special on there. Great cover, and there's another variant cover I want to show you. Unfortunately, you can't get it from me, but you can get it from my friends at Gotham Central Comics, and it is a great cover done by my friend, my supporter, my brother, Ken Lashley, doing this amazing Boba Fett cover. And this one,
interesting trivia. Ken actually did one of those Star Wars model kit cover for me.
oh, awesome! So we've got a connection there. Ken's a great local talent. This guy does so much work. He's got a heart of gold, and he's super talented. So if you want this cover, you got to probably reach out to Gotham Central and check out their website to get it. But a great image. So yeah, so there you go. We've talked Star Wars. Oops, we've talked Star Wars for you guys. I hope you did something special for May the 4th this year, and I hope you continue to enjoy Star Wars. I know Disney just dropped 2 little shorts. One is about the different biomes in Star Wars, and apparently one you get to walk around the Millennium Falcon, kind of like a virtual tour. So yeah, so listen, Star Wars is life, and life is Star Wars.
Yep.
Do something fun and enjoy it. Feel like a kid again, or show somebody that may not know the love that you have of Star Wars, how much you love it, and get them to love it too. So I'm Andre from Heroes World. This is
I'm Erik. Yeah, I'm Erik, from Udon, to all the fans out there. Today's Star Wars Day, so may the Force be with you. To the Star Trek fans, live long and prosper. I'm both. So I'm both. Right. You can be both.
You can be both, 100%. Yes. So thank you very much for those who joined and those who commented. If you want to find out more, like, subscribe, and also get that notifications, because we're doing a lot of great content on our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel. You can get new podcasts every Sunday. We got the Sidekick Show on Monday, and we're doing trailer reactions and fun little videos like this. Yeah, so like, comment, subscribe.
I want to add something to this. I want to say, all of you fans out there, new or old to Heroes World or to this podcast and stuff, like Andre and John, good friends of mine. They've been working very hard, running one of the best comic store, north of Toronto. And, you guys need anything, just reach out to them. If they would do their best to find the stuff for you. Look at the stuff that I have. A lot of these stuff comes from them. Yeah. You just have to go and check it out, or go and message him. It's like, hey, Dre, like you guys, have this. Do you guys carry this? Can you guys find this? So go, and they would try to help you out on your needs.
Yes. Yeah, so if you guys do want to connect to us, Heroes World Online, that's going to get you everywhere. That's going to get you our Facebook, our YouTube, our new website, and we're adding stuff all the time. So listen, take care, everybody. Stay safe, and happy May the 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.